If you are watching this video right now, then you were meant to hear this. Because for most of your life, you were taught to believe that reality controls your thoughts. But what if the opposite is true? What if your thoughts have been quietly shaping your reality all along, without you even realizing it? Genevieve Behrend believed that the imagination is not fantasy, it is power. A hidden force capable of influencing the life you experience every single day. And once you truly understand this, you begin to see why some people transform their entire reality while others remain trapped in the same patterns forever. So subscribe to the channel and stay with me until the end, because what you are about to hear may completely change the way you see your own mind. There is a moment in every person's life when something shifts. When the noise of the ordinary world goes quiet for just a second, and a deeper voice, one you have always sensed but rarely listened to, speaks clearly. For Genevieve Behrend, that moment came when she first read the words of Thomas Troward, a British judge who had unlocked what he believed to be the fundamental law of the human mind. The moment everything changed. There is a moment, a single, quiet, almost invisible moment, that separates the people who transform their lives from the people who spend decades wondering why nothing ever changes. You have probably felt it before. A sudden stillness in the middle of a noisy day. A whisper inside you that something is possible, something greater than what you are currently living. And then, almost immediately, the noise comes back. The doubts rush in. The world tells you to be realistic. And you let the moment pass. But what if that whisper was not imagination? What if it was instruction? There is a teaching, ancient in its essence, though it was written in the language of the modern world, that says the universe is not something that happens to you. It is something that responds to you. Not to your words, not to your prayers alone, but to the images you hold in your mind with the greatest emotional intensity. To the invisible world you are constantly building, thought by thought, feeling by feeling, inside you. Most people have never been taught this. They were taught to work harder, to earn more, to wait for the right circumstances, to be patient with a life that keeps delivering the same results no matter how hard they try. And they believe, quietly and painfully, that this is simply how life works. That some people are lucky and others are not. That fate is a hand you are dealt, not a world you are creating. But the teaching says something different. It says that what you see around you right now is not the cause of your experience. It is the effect of it. It is the physical echo of something that already happened, inside you, in your mind, in the images you accepted, reinforced, and made your own. This idea was not born in a self-help book. It was discovered, tested, and lived by people who staked everything on it, and watched their world reorganize in ways that could not be explained by coincidence alone. People who crossed oceans, attracted the impossible, transformed nothing into something. Not because they were special, but because they understood something about the nature of the mind that most of the world has forgotten. And that understanding begins with a question so simple it almost sounds too easy. What are you actually seeing when you close your eyes? Because what lives in that inner darkness, the images you carry without realizing it, the feelings you return to without choosing them, that is not private. That is not separate from your life. That is the hidden source of everything your life keeps producing. And once you truly see that, everything changes. Stay with me because in the next part of this teaching, we are going to go inside the mind itself. And what you find there will surprise you. The two worlds inside you. Right now, as you are watching this, two separate worlds exist inside you simultaneously. And almost no one talks about this. Almost no one explains the war that is happening, quietly, invisibly, between these two worlds every single day of your life. The first world is the one you know, the conscious world. The part of your mind that reads, chooses, plans, and reasons. This is the world of intentions, of goals you write down, of decisions you make with confidence, of affirmations you repeat because you heard they would help. This is the part of your mind you identify as yourself, the voice in your head that says I want to change. I am ready for more. This time will be different. The second world is the one you have almost never seen directly. The subconscious. And this world does not speak in words. It speaks in images, in feelings, in patterns so old and so deep they feel like reality itself rather than something that was ever programmed into you. Here is the truth that most people cannot hear the first time. The second world almost always wins. Not because it is more powerful in the way we usually mean power, but because it is older. It was shaped before you had language to question it, before you had the awareness to push back. It was written into you by the experiences, the words, and the emotional imprints of your earliest years. And then it was reinforced, silently, by every experience that seemed to confirm what it already believed, until it became so automatic, so natural, so simply the way things are, that you stopped seeing it as a belief at all. You started seeing it as the truth. This is why people can want something desperately, truly, sincerely, with everything they have, and still not see it arrive. It is not because the universe is withholding it. It is because the image held in the deepest layer of the mind does not match the image being held in the conscious one. And the universe, or whatever name you give to the force that organizes reality, does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you actually believe, to the image that carries the most emotional weight, to the feeling that is most familiar, most repeated, most alive in you. Think about that for a moment. Think about the patterns in your own life. Not the goals, the patterns, the things that keep happening, the walls that keep appearing in different disguises, the kind of relationships you keep having, the level of abundance that keeps returning to the same range no matter what you do. These are not accidents. These are not bad luck. These are the subconscious world rendering itself visible in physical form. These are the images you carry, projecting themselves outward into the life you experience as real. This is not a comfortable teaching, but it is a liberating one. Because if the patterns you are living are coming from inside you, then changing them does not require waiting for the world to be different. It requires something far more within your reach. It requires learning to change what you hold inside. And there is a way, a precise, practiced, ancient and modern way. That is exactly what the next part of this teaching reveals. And most people who hear it for the first time feel something stir in them that they have not felt in a very long time. Keep watching. The sacred practice of the inner vision. Now we arrive at the heart of it. The part that sounds simple, and is. The part that sounds too easy to be real, and is not. Because the practice itself is simple. The discipline of doing it, truly doing it, every day, without giving up when the outer world has not yet caught up, that is where most people fall away. And that is exactly why so few people ever experience the full power of what is about to be described. It is called, in different traditions by different names, the inner vision, the mental picture, the sacred image. Every mystical tradition in human history has touched it. Every great teacher of the inner life has pointed toward it. Not as a technique, as a truth. Here is what the teaching says. Inside every human being, there is a creative faculty, not metaphorical, not spiritual in a vague sense, but functionally real, that has the capacity to impress a new image upon the deeper layers of the mind. And when that image is held with enough clarity, enough genuine feeling, and enough patient repetition, the subconscious receives it as instruction. And it begins, below the threshold of your awareness, to reorganize everything in your inner world to match it. And as the inner world reorganizes, the outer world follows. Not immediately, not dramatically, but unmistakably. The practice works like this. You go still. Not by forcing stillness, that is just another form of noise, but by allowing it. By sitting with yourself the way you would sit with someone you deeply trust. And in that stillness, you introduce an image. Not a wish. Not a vague hope. A clear, specific, emotionally real picture of the life you intend to live. You see it. You feel it. You let yourself inhabit it, as if it has already happened. As if the distance between where you are and where you want to be has already been crossed. And here is the crucial thing. The thing that separates those who use this and experience results from those who try it once and decide it does not work. The feeling must not be one of longing. Longing is the feeling of something absent. And if you sit in that stillness feeling the ache of what you do not yet have, you are not impressing the image of having it. You are impressing the image of missing it. And the deeper mind will reproduce exactly that. The feeling that works is different. It is quiet, almost calm. It is the feeling of certainty. The feeling of someone who knows, without needing proof yet, that what they are holding is real. The way you know the sun will rise tomorrow, not because you can see it, but because you have never had reason to doubt it. This is what it means to believe before you see. Not blind faith. Not emotional performance. A practiced, patient, increasingly natural state of inner alignment with an outcome you have chosen, and committed to holding no matter what the outer world is currently showing you. Do this every morning. Before the world speaks to you, you speak to your mind. Before the noise begins, you visit the silence. 5 minutes. 10. With the same image. The same feeling. Day after day. And something will begin to shift. First in ways so subtle you might dismiss them. A coincidence here. A door that opens where you did not expect one. A person appearing with exactly what you needed. Until the subtle becomes undeniable. Until you look around and realize that the world has been quietly rearranging itself around the image you have been holding within. But before you can fully use this practice, there is one thing standing in your way. One invisible force that has been quietly working against you your entire life. And in the final chapter, we are going to face it directly. The shadow that follows you. You have heard everything so far. You understand it, perhaps more deeply than you expected. And part of you is already thinking, I have tried this before. I have visualized. I have affirmed. I have believed, or at least told myself I believed. And still, nothing changed. Or things changed for a moment, and then drifted quietly back to exactly what they were before. If that is you, I need you to understand something. You were not failing the practice. There was something inside you that the practice had not yet reached. There is a layer of the mind deeper than intention. Deeper even than emotion. A place where the oldest stories live, the ones that were written into you so early, so quietly, that you have never questioned them because they do not feel like stories at all. They feel like facts. About who you are. About what you deserve. About what is realistic for someone like you. These are the shadow images. And they are the invisible ceiling of almost every human life. They sound like this: I always end up back here. People like me don't get to have that. Something always goes wrong when things start going well. I'm not the kind of person who, and the most insidious one of all, the one that whispers so quietly you barely hear it, maybe I'm just not meant for more than this. These voices did not come from you. They came from the world around you before you were old enough to choose what to believe. From the fears of people who loved you and passed their limitations to you without meaning to. From experiences that taught you it was safer not to want too much. From a culture that mistakes comfort with acceptance and calls it wisdom. And they have been running in the background of your mind, every single day, filtering what you notice, shaping what you believe is possible, quietly undoing the work of every conscious vision you have tried to hold. Here is the teaching on how to face them. You do not fight them. You do not analyze them into submission. You do not beg them to leave. Because everything you resist, you feed. Everything you declare war on inside yourself grows louder in the battle. Instead, you replace them. Slowly. Patiently. With the same quiet persistence that water uses to reshape stone. You return to the inner vision not because you have silenced the shadows, but in spite of them. You hold the image even when the old voice says it will never happen. You return to the stillness even on the days the doubt is louder than the peace. Not because you have conquered the shadow, but because you are no longer obeying it. And something extraordinary happens over time. The new image begins to feel more familiar than the old one. The certainty begins to feel more natural than the doubt. The shadow does not disappear, but it loses its authority over you. And when something loses its authority over you, it loses its power to shape your reality. This is the deepest teaching. Not that the mind is powerful. You already knew that in some way. But that you, the aware, choosing, intentional part of you, have the capacity to decide which part of the mind runs your life. The shadow that was handed to you, or the vision you have chosen. One creates the life you have always known. The other creates the life you have always felt was possible, but perhaps never quite believed you were allowed to have. Until now. Everything shared in this teaching comes down to one truth. Simple, ancient, and more powerful than anything the outside world has ever offered you. Your mind is not a mirror of reality. It is the source of it. Not someday. Right now. This moment. The life around you is the echo of the life inside you. And that means the one place you have always had the power to change things is the one place most people never look. You do not need to wait for circumstances to align. You do not need permission. You do not need to become someone different before you begin. You need only to do one thing, the thing that has always been available to you, that costs nothing, that requires no special gift, no perfect conditions, no particular moment of readiness. Go still. See the life you intend to live. Feel it as already real. Return to it tomorrow. And do not stop. That is it. That is the practice. That is the ancient secret dressed in the simplest possible clothes. If something in this teaching stirred something in you, trust that feeling. It is not random. The mind that was ready to receive this found its way here. Now take one step. Subscribe to this channel, because what we are building here, lesson by lesson, is a complete map to the life your deeper self has always known was possible. Leave a comment below and tell me, what is the one image you are committing to hold from this day forward? Write it. Make it real. I read every single one. And if someone in your life is still looking for the key that has been inside them all along, share this with them. You may never know how much that single moment of reaching out changes everything for them. The power was never outside of you. It was never something to find, earn, or deserve. It was always here, waiting for you to direct it. Now you know. What you do with that knowledge, that is entirely up to you.